my daughter's house. I'm really apologetic about the early start time, guys. I had planned on coming on at 7 o'clock tonight, and I might be back at 7 o'clock tonight. We'll have to wait and see. But I did want to make sure we had a show today because I got some important things to discuss. My trouble is I was not expecting to do the show at this time. I do not have my tablet, so there will be no music, but I will stand and say the pledge, come back and start the show. Hello, Janet. Hello, Beth. Good to see you. As I said before, you guys come on, guys. I'm sorry that we had to come on early, but I wanted to make sure we had a show. There still is a possibility I'll do a 7 or 7:30 later tonight, but I did want to talk to everyone. I'm going to wing it because I have no notes. I have nothing to read. It's just the things that's come to me that I'm going to be talking about. But as I said, I don't have my tablet, so there is no music tonight, this afternoon. But I'm going to do the pledge, and then I'll be right back. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And that being said, the normal part of the show now would be, we're proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I'll stand up and help everyone. And when you just pick the song apart, it's a beautiful song. It's become our theme song. It's also the Hat theme song, along with the Hat also closes all of his shows with YMCA, but I'm not as good as dancer as him, so I'm not going to worry about it. Now, I do want to talk to the children. I am amazed that I just had to go to a store. My daughter is a kindergarten teacher, Amber, and today more or less is their last day of school. They have to go back Tuesday for just a partial little time. So Amber has to go back in Wednesday. So more or less, Amber is saying goodbye to her students, and she had bought a big pail of ice cream to take so she could treat her kids with ice cream. And she bought it. She gave it to her son, Patriot7, last night. Asked him, could you put it in the freezer for me, please? Because she had other stuff that she had to get in. And he did. He put it in the refrigerator part, not the freezer part. So they kind of got cold milk instead of ice cream. So she had me run to the store, pick up some ice cream and run it to her school. And then I'm having trouble with a tire on my car. I went and got it fixed. So that's where we're at there. But it gave me time to think about the show. But I wanted to talk about the kids, as I was telling you, in the store that I'm at, there was a lot of people. And they were getting this and they were getting that. And somebody wanted to buy some chicken. They wanted chicken breast. And the guy says, well, it's going to be about 20 minutes before we have any ready. And he says, okay. He says, do you want to wait? And he says, nah, I don't think I need to wait that long. And this lady sitting there made the statement to him, sir, they have chicken tenders. And he says, but chicken tenders are just meat of chicken that they put some stuff on and make them crunchy. And we all got discussing, chicken's not really chicken unless it's on a bone. And but what it was a bunch of people about the same age standing there talking. Could you imagine looking at your mom and saying, hey, do you want some chicken tenders? At my age, my mom would have looked at me and slapped me alongside the head and said, you want another one? You see what I mean? Everything has changed. And then we got talking about how I seen a video the other day where the police were called to this house. And they knocked on the door. The lady answers and they said, yes, we have a disturbance call to come here. What is the disturbance? And the lady said, I haven't a clue. The little boy standing behind her little 10-year-old son and said, I'm the one that called. And the officer said, what did you call for, young man? My mom spanked me with a belt. What did you do? And the little boy told the officer, And she only hit you 4 times on the butt with a belt because she loves you and she's trying to protect you? That's child abuse. And the officer said, well, let me explain something to you, young man. He said, let me explain something to you. And what I really want to explain here is if I ever get called back to this house again for abuse of a child, and you tell me your mom corrected you and trying to help you and trying to make you a better kid by spanking you on the butt with her belt 4 times, you see my belt is much bigger. I'm a big man. It's much thicker. I like a big belt, and it's much heavier. And I personally will take my belt off, and I will give you more than 4 spanks on your butt. And I thought, us people were talking about this. We're talking about this. And it's amazing the talk that you can have with people if you're just willing to open your mind. And it was so refreshing. And I have my little granddaughter with me at the time. And when we left the store, she looked at me and she says, you know, Grandpa, them people, they was right. We shouldn't say anything bad about mommy and daddy if they spank us because they love us and they're trying to make sure we know what's right and wrong. This came from a 5-year-old. But then I was talking at another store. I had to go get some medicine the other day. And I think I told this story Wednesday night, but it's worth repeating. And kids, I want you to listen to this because people will lie for anything. And the man that's working the medicine, the main guy in charge there, every time he would ring an order up for somebody, he'd look at that person and he'd say, oh, it says here on the screen that you're due for this shot and also that shot that they was giving in 2020, you need an upgrade. And the people, older people, they're saying, well, how do I get them? Well, you get them here free. See, because every free shot they give out, they get money. They get money. And I was like 4 or 5 people back, and all of a sudden I got up there. And he looked at me and says, Mr. Anderson, your cost for your medicine is free. He says, but am I a vet? No, I'm not a vet. My 2 brothers, Ron and Russ, are Patriot 6 and Patriot 4. They're both vets, Vietnam and Germany and France. But he looked at me and he says, you're due for the shot for pneumonia. And I said, no, I'm not. I just had that shot 2.5 months ago. And they go, well, it says here you're due. And I said, can I see it? Oh, no, I can't let you see my screen. It says you're also due for that shot, you know, that they were given in 2020. You haven't had one for the last year and a half. I said, I haven't had one for the last year and a half. And he goes, yes, sir. And I said, sir, I'm 71 years old and I've never had that shot. I would not comply. I would not surrender. I would not give in. And he says, well, lucky you. And I said, no, shame on you because you're just trying to make money. The more shots you give, the more money you make. And all of a sudden I look around and there's 5 or 6 people that he had told that was waiting to get their shots. They said, is this true, sir? And I said, well, let me show you something about the shot he wants to give you. And I showed him a statistic on the people who's getting them and what conditions they're in. And the people who aren't, 98.9% are healthy as horses. And that's just a saying, kids. But adults are here for you. They want to make you the best that you can be. But if your mom and dad decide you do something wrong and they correct you, never, ever. You know, Patriot Super Jimmy, you know, you come up with some of the most amazing posts. You know, things where I'm thinking, why is an 11-year-old boy knowing this? You know, why are you... Go outside and play. Even though it's chilly out, it's still nicer to be outside playing than it is on a computer. We didn't have computers. We didn't have laptops. We didn't have all of this stuff. You know, Patriot 11, Patriot Wyatt Earp, Patriot Karate Kid, Patriot Boogie, Bugs, Boogaloo, and Boogaroo. Then we have Patriot Princess, our queen, and Patriot Hunter, her brother. Her older brother, the smart one. Now, Haley's a very smart young girl, too. Very beautiful. You know, we have Patriot Leona and Patriot Elan, Patriot Super Gymnast, Patriot 7, Patriot Small Hank, Patriot little monkey and Patriot Kira. Now, what I'm about to tell you, if your parents correct you, they're doing it for your best. I know sometimes if they put one on, they put one on your rear end, it hurts. I said, you know what? My mom never really ever spanked me. My dad never really ever spanked me. But you know, they scared the living bejesus out of me, because what my mom would do to me is when I got in trouble and I deserved a spanking, my mom would look at me and she'd say, "You see that backyard?" I said, "Yes, Mom, I see the backyard." She said, "You see that tree right there?" And I said, "Yes, Mom, I see that tree right there." She says, "I want you to go cut a branch off, that tonight after you take your hot bath and your butt is good and red and tender, I'm going to spank you with that switch that you get me. And you better get me a good one. You better not make me go out there and get one, because if you do, it's going to be even twice as big as the one you're going to get." And you know, I think I was 16 or 17 years old, and I did something one day, and my mom told me to go get a switch. She hadn't told me that for 5 years. She told me, "Go get a switch." And as I'm getting a switch, I got thinking, my mom's never spanked me with one of these switches. Scares me, got me to go to bed early. Oh, after I had that hot bath, man, I was in my pajamas, and I was in bed, and I was sleeping. Even if I wasn't sleeping, when she'd come in and say, Ralphie, are you awake?" I was sleeping. But that's when kids were kids. That's when kids played hide and seek. That's when kids had to be in their yard by the time the street lights were on. That's when we ate as a family, a dinner, a supper. And we didn't look at Mom and say, "Mom, I don't like that. Can you make me something else?" Or, "Mom, I'm not going to eat that." You know what? If we said, "Mom, we didn't like it, could you make me something else?" We went hungry that night. And I was one that didn't like to go hungry, so I ate. When someone looks at me and says, "You eat peas, you eat this, you eat that," the one thing she would let you slide on, she would not force you to eat onions. She would not force you to eat cooked, fried, cooked onions or regular onions, green peppers, things like that. If she fried it and you didn't like it, she would not make you eat it. But if you come to the supper table and you said, "Hey, Mom, there's a TV show and I really want to watch. I'm going to get my plate and go in and sit down and watch it." Yeah, you didn't eat. "Hey, Mom, I got something to do. Can you put something and put it on a plate and put it on the stove so it stays warm?" And I'm not talking about a stove that you cook your food on. I'm talking about a stove that heats your house. Because we didn't have furnaces back then. We had stoves in the middle of the floor. Kids need to be kids. So, kids, I'm not telling you this because I'm mad at you. I'm not telling you this because I'm trying to scare you. I'm just telling you this because me as a kid lived in the greatest time in the world for kids. And I think it paid off, because we're doing something now, kids, that we're going to make America great again. We're going to make the world great again. You know, they're already putting posters out there for our president, the hat, to be the president in 28, 32, 36. Are we going to come to that? I don't think so. Period. But it's going to lead me into these special beds. But that kind of concludes the kids section today. And remember, kids, this show is not meant for you. I always see 1111 and 111. I seen 1111 and 111 3 different times yesterday. Yeah, I see that. Ron put that up. You know, I coming home last night, and my clock in my car is about 4 minutes slower than my watch. So I looked at it and it said 4:40. And I go, 4:40. Let me check. And just as I checked, it was 4:44. Oh, wow. So then I watched it turn 4:44 there. It's amazing. It's amazing what numbers will do to you. But kids, get involved with numbers. Get involved in going and just looking at your friends and say, "Hey, you just want to go for a walk? You want to ride your bike?" Just be a kid. Because when you grow up, it's nowhere near as fun. Now, me, it is fun for me because I'm just an overgrown kid. But it is fun. But when your parents have been there. Now, I know some of the kids, maybe the parents didn't have to go through what I had to. that Diane had to, that Myrna had to, that, other people our age had to go through. But I wouldn't change it for the world. But as I was saying, this show is not meant for you, but you can watch it under the permission of your parents, grandparents, or legal guardians. And that concludes the kids section. I do not have to make a statement about the music played today because we didn't have any music and that. But here, I have some things that I'm very excited about, guys. I have some things I'm really, really excited about. And that's why I wanted to make sure that we got a show at least in this afternoon. And depending on how things go, I might come back tonight. Might be 7, might be 7:30, might be 8 o'clock. Because there's some exciting things going out there. Go in the other room if you're going to play that. I can't hear. Okay? Thank you. You want to see the people? You want them to see you? You want to come say hi? No? She's being bashful. She don't want to say hi. She's drinking her drink. But there's some really exciting things. One of the exciting things came across my phone here just a little bit ago. I think Ron sent it to me. Some whale. And when I mean whale, I mean, the rich people, not the ones in the water. Some whale just purchased over 234 million. Over 234 million. I think it was like 236 million. So many, like 400,000 and whatever, hundreds of XRP. The total purchase, the total value of them is like $500 million. Or I don't remember I think I'm wrong there because last I checked, they were $2.42 a piece. So you can do the math. But the thing is, guys, he just spent this much money. Unless they think that's going to really go up, do you really think he would buy that much? I don't. So I think that is a very good sign, a really good sign. The other day I shared a little video with Ron. I think shared it with some other people. It's a cute video about Burger King. And we all know about Mickey D's, some of the things they're doing. But I don't know if you've noticed, but the hat has really been in the news here lately about Mickey D's. Is it because he might close them down, or is it just bringing the attention? So when the sting, when it hits what they've been doing for all these years. And it hurts me because when I was, little Jimmy, Super Jimmy, when I was your age, that was my favorite place to eat. There was no French fries in the world like Mickey D. When you get to be my age and you're a patriot and you start learning things. You couldn't pay me to go to that place now. But this video, it was a picture and they showed a young kid like Jimmy's age, like Patriot7's age, like the kids that's in our group's age. Because most of them, except for the two little babies, they're about the same age. John's got a couple young ones, but they're sitting eating, not one, not two, but like 2 or 3, 4 Whoppers. And here's a little kid version of Putin, and a little kid's version of Zelensky, and the hat, and Elon. And then, they keep going from picture to picture, little kids to them eating the Whoppers and what they look like now. And they're like 2 times, 3 times the size as me. Their heads are like this big, because, and all they're doing is chomping down these Whoppers. And that's the trouble. That's a sickness. Eating can be a sickness if you don't control it. It took me a long time to realize that. I mean, I couldn't get enough to eat. I mean, I tell myself I was hungry even though I was stuffed, just so I can eat. Does anybody else ever have that problem? But it's all changing. And we're on the verge of some greatness, guys. We're on the verge of some greatness. And Bruce, in a big call last night, I thought, was one of the best ones he's had in a long, long, long time. But not only was it a great show, the things Bruce was saying in the show, the things that he was talking about in the show, Wolverine came and acknowledged that the things Bruce was talking about is spot on. So what was Bruce talking about? What is it that is so amazing? Well, naturally, he talked about Sue and her golden bundles, which I don't pay no attention to that. I like it. I like it when Marianne is giving me play-by-play, but she was busy last night and she didn't give me play-by-play last night. Me and her, we do a lot of joking. We send a lot of emojis to one another and laugh and joke about what's going on. Then Bob and his ongoing sales every week. Bob's got ongoing sales and then testimonials. And then the next week he turns up sick. And I'm thinking, this man's been sick an awful long time. A lot of times if these products are that good. But you know, it's the way them three chose to get through this. Is it the right way? I don't think so. Are they going to get slapped on the hands? I would imagine. How hard? I don't know. But see, I can come here to you guys and I can do a show from my heart with my love that I have for all of this family and anybody else who watches this show. I can do this knowing that I did not do it for greed. I didn't do it so I could have a better lifestyle. I've been doing this show for over 5 years. I was approached by a certain place to get me followers for here. I could have easily have 100 to 200,000 followers. I could be selling advertisement on this and I could be doing this. I could be making a lot of money. And as I look back, and you know, when they say, look, turn back the hands of time, if I look back and sometimes I think I should have done it, not for me, but for the people in our group that need a helping hand. I don't have a lot. I don't make a lot. Neither does Patriot 6, Ron. We don't have a lot, but you know, we have a lot more than some of the people. And if I would have taken in money, and all it would have been was people would have come on, 100, 200,000 people, act like they watch the show. They'd have to stay on a certain amount. But boy, the amount of minutes watching this show would have just went, 500, 600,000 minutes watching it, a show, maybe 1 million minutes watching. Well, what does that do to people who want to advertise? Well, we're going to run these little commercials and you have to watch 5 seconds of them before the show starts. And they'll run 2 of them. And then as you're watching it on the replay, it doesn't happen while the show's going on, but as you're watching it on the replay, then about every 15 minutes, they have 2 more. And then about 15 minutes. And if I run an hour show, I could have easily, the 2 beginning and all the way through it, could have easily run 10 ads, getting a lot of money put into our account where we could have shared with people. But I didn't look at it that way. I looked at it no. I heard the hat say anybody taking money for personal gain from the people who are patriots. This isn't taking it from patriots. This is taking it from greedy companies who want to make more and sell. Even though they're selling false advertisement, it's still advertisement. And the person who advertises and pays for it, they're willing if they can just get a few new customers here and there. Because I'm walking, talking proof what a few people can do. When I did my very first show on March 5th, 5 years ago, it was a recorded show. And when I finished, I had 12 people that I sent it out to. One of them was Ron. I think I sent it to my daughter, my son, and then 9 other people. But out of that 12 people, at one time we had grown this company, this show. We had grown this show to over 35,000 people. Now you guys that have been with me for the long haul, you understand the reason we're at a little over 3,000 now is because we've had some difficulties with a few people who's tried to ruin the show, but we're still standing. And we're a strong little over 3,000 people. We're a family. And that's what I've always wanted to be. But I said to God on that very first show, before I sent it out, if I touch one person, if I touch one person's life and help them and make their life a little better, I'm a success. Now I'm going to ask right now because I see them on. Janet, have I helped you any?
Well, I'm the perfect shopping companion. I can sign you to
I know Ron, my partner, I've helped. Diane, Myrna. You know, there's a lot of new ones on here. Le Pope, Golden Arrow, you've been with us for a long time. Have I ever done anything that's touched you and made you feel like you was part of a family? Part of something that you didn't have to take all the neglect from the rest of your family? I hope I have. But if I just touch one person, the show's a success, and that's all I ever ask for. Now, let's go to Bruce. Bruce is saying the one thing that's held us up for Wednesday when we were supposed to go was there was some banks that were not complying. And you know and I'm going to talk to Mary Ann on this, because I know I've touched her life. Linda don't know how much she's touched my life with reminding me every day to take my medicine. And Linda, even though I haven't written you today, I got my 20,000 steps. I've taken my medicine, and as soon as I get done with the show, I'm going to go elevate my feet. But it's friendships like this, guys, that they're going to last a lifetime. It's friendships like this that I don't worry about talking to my other brother, my sister, my kids, other people in the family, that they act like they're interested, and as soon as you turn your back, they start laughing at you. I don't need that. Thank you. Annie says this is her favorite show. Thank you, Annie. It's my favorite show, too. I don't try to sell or do anything. I just try to be me. But as Bruce is saying, it's that certain banks would not comply. Well, supposedly what Bruce has heard and what other people has heard, these banks have now been taken over by bigger banks, and everything is done. It still could be a possibility. There's a few stragglers, so it could slow us down, a night, a day, whatever. But he's pretty sure it's pretty much done. Now, I wanted to talk about that first when I got into the segment of the show, because the reason I wanted to talk about this is because, see, I bank at a small bank in Herscher, Illinois. I have been at that bank since right after I got married in April of 1983. So 42 years I've been with that bank. That bank has another bank that it's associated with that goes under the same name, just different town. It still goes under State Bank of Herscher, but it's the limestone version of it. There's 3 other banks across the area, different towns. So there's 5 banks total, but they're all kind of together. If I needed to do some banking and I was in one of those towns, I would have no trouble going and showing my State Bank of Herscher card, and they would take care of me. But I'm telling you this story because just yesterday, I received a message, an email from the State Bank of Herscher, and it started off, Mr. Anderson. We have news that we think is going to be very important to you. And they named their bank, they named the limestone version and the other 3. I think there was 4. I think there was 6 total. I talked to Ron about it last night. If he remembers me saying 6, he can say yes, there was 6 in the chat. But I'm going to say there were 6 banks, and he says they have all been kind of put under the guidance of this major bank. And I'm thinking, whoa. I mean, as I was reading this message, I was sitting on Ron's sofa, and he was sitting in his chair watching TV. And I said, Ron, listen to this. And I read it to him. And I said, does it sound to me like our banks weren't complying? Because whenever I go there and I talk to him about, gold back, when I talk to him about, the new currency, when I talk to him about the things that they should have known about, they never seemed to give me an answer. Now, there is one girl that was there that I did get a little information out of, but she said, you didn't hear that here. But then it never panned out. So now, to my knowledge, the way I'm reading this email. They said, you're still going to get the same family atmosphere. We're still considered the State Bank of Herscher. We're still this, we're still that. But we're just being run by a different organization. So that to me meant a lot. Now, Bruce also said in his big call last night, first of all, he saved this for the last, but I'm going to bring it first. He said that starting tonight at 5:01 p.m. Eastern, we had a 28-hour window that we should start getting the 800 numbers. They're doing it 28 hours because of the different time zones. They want to make sure they have plenty. They didn't go 24, they went 28. If by chance some of these banks are still dragging their feet and they need it, they will work to get every bank done over the weekend, and then they'll make the announcement again that started the next day at 5:01. I would think if it don't go Friday at 5:00, tonight at 5:01 for 28 hours, which actually takes us to 9:01 Saturday evening Eastern time, 8:01 Central and 6:01 on the West Coast. So that being said, I thought that was a very, very positive thing. Bruce also stated there is no stopping. You know, as the song says, nothing's going to stop us now. We build the world together. We stand by each other. Nothing's going to stop us now, everyone. Once again, puts a smile on my face. I like good news. But he said there was different things. And one of them, he says, when you get the number for the Redemption Center, when you get there, probably the minute you get out of your car, they're going to start taking pictures and video of you. They're going to walk in and they're going to take you through what you need to go through. And they're literally going to take pictures and video and record every word that you speak and they speak in this meeting, and this will be on file forever. So I can't go if they're doing this, I can't go in and say I want the high rate for the currencies, the dinar. I want the contract rate. I can say that, but if I forget to say it, I can't come back later when they only give me maybe a third, a fourth, or a fifth of what I would get if I get the contract rate. I can't come back and say, hey, they did me wrong. This is nothing but bogus, because they're going to have everything recorded. Another thing he mentioned is in the baskets, and all of them are backed. They have the backing they need. The countries have the backing they need for their currencies. But they will tell you right up front, dinar, dong, and zim definitely do. They tell you that. But you are going to know that all of them are backed. When you also get there, remember, in order to get your fancy card, what's your quantum card, you're going to have a fingerprint and your eyes. Remember one thing, a quantum card is not a credit card. It's thick. It's different. From what I understand from Bruce, they're amazing. But you can't use them to go to an ATM and get money out. The only thing you can use your quantum card for is to transfer money into another bank. And you can have, I think he said, up to 4 bank accounts.
Hey, that's my old house.
So I know what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to open up probably wherever I go to the Redemption Center, I'm going to open up a major account there. My quantum account will be there. And you have to remember your quantum account. Your quantum account is like being with the IRS. Nobody will ever know what's in your quantum account but you.
Just have a flashback? It's better than freezing out here.
Who's ever protecting your money, no one can touch it. No one can come up to you and put a, to rob you and say, give me your card, because the card is absolutely worthless to them because they don't have your fingerprint and your eyes. You have to go through people. So if they take you to the bank and say, you're going to do this for me and then you're going to give me this money, it doesn't work that way. We are, for once in our life, being protected, folks. We're being protected. Then we go and, the quantum card, the money. So as I've said, what I will be doing is I will be putting money in 4 different accounts. I'll have a major account set up for me, but then I'll have 4 other accounts. And then Ron needs some money. My brother Russ needs some money. I just transfer money out of one of my accounts into theirs. Say they need a couple million. I transfer a couple million to their account. I transfer a couple million. Whenever they need money, all they have to do is ask and I'll transfer it to them. Then I'll just transfer more back into my accounts. You're going to be able to get an account set up just for each project. So I have your stuff. You're going to have a time limit. They want you in and out. And this is something that's very intimate. I've heard from the time you get in there, shake hands, they want you out in 20 minutes. I've heard we have up to 35 or 40 minutes. But let's face it, when we first was notified that we had to go to the Redemption Center, and if we had projects, we had to explain them. Remember, I made up what our projects are going to be, the ones we're going to work, but there's a lot there. But see, I don't have to tell them a lot. All I have to tell them is project number 1, I want to rebuild Buckingham, Illinois. And just give them an overview of about 20 or 30 seconds of what I want to do. I want to make sure everybody's house is how they want it. I want to make sure that we hire people to mow their grass, to plant gardens for them, to take care of everything. I want to build stores. I want to buy land to put more houses in there. And, very simple. This is what I want to do. This is what I want allowed for the next 100 years to do it. Now, if it is not going to take 100 years, but then I want to go to another small town and do the same thing, and another small town and do the same thing. I'm setting up all my accounts that I want the money to be available for me for the next 100 years. Why not? If I get on that BED that's spelled magic, think about it. If you get on that, you're going to be here probably 100 years from now. Are you going to be working the projects? Guys, and here's the thing. When they say working the projects, you're going to assign, me and Ron was just talking, we may be on the 15th hole, and someone calls me and said, hey, Mr. Anderson, we have this going on here. What do I do? And you tell them what to do. You hang your phone up and you sink your putt.
Thanks for rescuing us.
We're going to work. We're going to be in charge. And see, we're going to have a chain of command. I might assign, I know Linda loves animals. So Linda and the girl in Ukraine, they're going to be 2 of my main people working with animals. But they're not going to be working their butts off. They're not going to have to punch a clock. Nobody's going to have to punch a clock, guys. You're going to be working, but it's going to be like vacation working. Nobody's going to work hard. My other projects is working with the animals. Another project is working with the children. I don't want to stop. I've talked to Julia, the girl in the Ukraine. I said, if you do come here and we're together, she is as avid about this as I am, about working with children. I don't want to stop until all children have a family. People say that's impossible. There's no such thing as the world impossible. Remember, we're making America and we're making the world great again. Nothing's impossible. We can do this. They're also going to test your frequency. Now, this is one that I don't think is going to fly. I think this is being made up by some people because, see, if your frequency isn't good, they might not do things for you the right way. No. Remember, this is in charge. God's in charge of this. You're going to get what you deserve. He has stolen. He has stolen. He has stolen. These bad people, not him, but they have stolen the bad people for years and years. It's finally going to come back to us. It's finally going to come back to Ralph and Ron and Linda and Marianne and Diane and Michael and Mike and so many people. One Voice and look, we got Ace Boogie here and what's Snowy. Lots of new people, guys, but we're on the threshold. The one song that keeps I get this song in my head every day. Nothing's gonna stop us now. Nothing is gonna stop us now. And it can't. Now, Bruce also talked about Social Security. He talked about Social Security that they're still saying we're going to get it this month. I don't believe in myself 100%. I don't believe it, but you know what? I'm not going to sit here and say we're not. Because what he was saying, they was hoping to have it out yesterday, but it didn't happen. So we still have one more Wednesday this month. So it can still happen. Is it going to happen by direct deposit? If you're on Social Security, yeah, it's going to happen on direct deposit. And from what I'm understanding, it's a nice raise. But if by chance they don't get it out this month, they will definitely, without a doubt, get it out next month. But we will get 2 payments. I was just talking to Ron last night and I said, we don't have to have the huge money. Give Social Security people a raise and give other people some money. I said, even if they don't want to get out, now, this is what I said. This is an idea that I had. We're all going to get this big money from our quantum card, right? We're all going to get millions of dollars. We know that. We know there's an account already set up that no one can see. Only us will be able to know what is in there. And it's millions of dollars. We know that. But do we have to have that? No. So I said to Ron, why don't they get everybody's thing set up? If they don't want to give us a raise on Social Security, why don't they do this? Everybody's got a quantum card. They got all this money, da-da-da-da-da. Let the people, I'm going to get to the paying off in a little bit. But people have no bills. People can afford to go out and get a new car. Give them enough starting off, maybe $250,000, $500,000 to start off, to get everything that they want, the toys and whistles. And then every month, send everybody in the world a check or direct deposit every month into their account of maybe $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 a month. There's no one here that can't live on $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, and it could be more. But it's coming out of our account, so it's not costing anybody nothing. You can wipe Social Security completely away by doing something like this. If they tell me that, Ralph, I'm going to give you $20,000 a month, but you're not going to get any Social Security, do you think I'm stupid enough to say, no, I want my Social Security. I worked hard for that. I'm going to say, thank you. Can I have another? Thank you. Can I have another? There's so many things. He talked about the DOGE money. And that one there, I thought he was a little off base on, but I'm going to tell you what he said. He said the DOG money, that the people 62 and over is going to get one heck of a settlement. The people 31 or 30, whatever, to 61, they're only going to get X amount of money each month for 2 years. And I don't believe that, but it could be. Because then what will happen is once they hit 62, then they'll start getting the big amount. They're giving them something every month So, I wasn't even thinking that, and it just dawned on me that that's probably what they're doing. They're going to do that up till they're 61, but when they hit 62, then they'll start getting the nice amount. They talked about all the other money, the way we're going to get it, and it's all supposed to be here. In a nutshell, guys, we are about to experience the greatest wealth change of money in the history of the world. There will never, ever, ever be anything like this again. People say, why do you think they're doing it now? Because they got the baby boomers in charge. And it's the greatest group of people ever. And I'm not saying it because I'm one, but I look at, you go down to the X thing and the one and the kids today. The kids today, all they care about is TV. You know what? They don't even care so much about TV. They want to get on their tablet. They want to get on their phones. They want to do this. They want to do that. As I said, I thought Bruce was very good last night. I advise everyone to get a copy and listen to it. If you're members with us on Telegram, it's there. You can also go to the Chosen Ones. It's there. I'm sure it's in our messenger page. Don't give up. Hi, Dana. Don't give up. Stay there. I'm really surprised I was able to go this long and remember as much as I did, because I just listened to this stuff. I just read over this stuff. And today could have been a long show because I really am excited about this stuff. And it's been a long time since I've been excited. If you don't believe me, you ask Ron, chatting with him. I've been pretty down. The last few shows I always get up when I do the shows, but I've been down because I'm just sick and tired of being sick and tired. Not so much for me, but for the people who really need it. It's coming. It's here. Guys, as I said, depending on how things go from this emergency type deal thing that happened today, why I wasn't going to be able to possibly be on at 7, I did the early show. I might come back on tonight with my tablet where I can actually read some of this stuff, and it might make a little more sense. But I hope you like this show. I'm thankful with all my love and heart that you guys showed up. 70-some people showing up. 37 thumbs up. The thumbs up has never been big to me. I go on shows and they say, they'll take a segment and say, hey, but before we go on with this show, and no, hit the thumbs up button. That helps. You know what? Do your show. If you do it right, people will come. What was it said in Field of Dreams? If you build it, they will come. Guys, us as patriots, we have built it. And now it's time we're going to come. Have a great day. I love you all. If I don't come back on tonight, if I'm not back on till Monday, if something doesn't happen, have a happy Memorial Day weekend. Eat, drink, and be happy, because, guys, we're right on the verge of happiness, wealth, and prosperity. Talk to you soon. Love you all. Patriot 5 saying bye.